It's horrible, isn't it?
It is not very nice at all.
No, no.
So is it Steve or Whitey?
Whatever you like.
Right, okay, lovely. Brilliant. So what are you doing down there in Birmingham?
I'm doing some drum clinics, like for Premier Drums and Zildjian Cymbals, with David Michela playing bass, and we're just going around the country doing some shows, some educational and some promotion stuff, and it's all been really good.
Brilliant. So
we're just up to Norwich now. Oh,
right, so you're just on your way up there to do another drum clinic?
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that. How do people get involved with that if they want to be?
They're advertised usually locally through the local kind of music dealers, drum shops that support the companies that put them on.
Yeah.
And it's just like a way of letting sort of drummers see what new equipment's about, and just having a little bit of education and just hanging out with other drummers. Really, it's sort of something that's quite peculiar to the drumming community, but it's really good fun.
So is it kind of for beginners or for?
It's all levels. I mean, different drummers do them in different ways, but mine are kind of, hopefully aimed at younger players, to try and just give them a bit of inspiration, a little bit of knowledge, really. So
right.
Anyone can come along.
I bet you it's great for drummers then, because obviously you're one of the biggest inspirations for a lot of drummers around at the moment.
Yeah. The tendencies have been really good. So yes, it's gone really well. I just kind of go on a bit sometimes. That's the only thing. They end up being 3 hours long.
Oh right, okay, yeah, because everybody kind of wants to have a chat to you at the end.
Yeah, but that's just the show. But the bit at the end's even longer. But they're really good fun, and having Damon on board to do it is really good. And we're travelling around. There's 4 of us. My mate George and my friend Tina from Zildjian and Premier, and Damon, and we're just on our little sort of merry way. And
so that's a nice little life for you, isn't it?
It's really good. We've done 2 weeks worth now, and it's good. We've got one more in Belfast next week, and then we've got like a big drum festival in October called Drumfest.
Right.
Which got like 6 or 7 drummers on. So it's quite a big community, really, and drummers seem to really, get involved.
So it's great that anyway for as I say, for kids that are wanting to go and see you, or even for older people. But who would you have liked to see doing the same type of thing when you were a bit younger?
Well, I'm actually getting a chance to perform with one of my sort of absolute one in second of Billy Cobham, the great American sort of fusion drummers.
Sorry, could you repeat that? Who was that?
Billy Cobham. B-I-Y-C-O-B-H-A-M.
Right.
And he's actually on there, and I think he's in his early 60s, but he's still sort of an amazing player, and I used to go and see people like Buddy Rich and Lou Nelson and Art Blakey and all these great jazz drummers.
Yeah.
And they used to just always be very giving and want to give something back to sort of younger drummers, which is which is like I say, something quite peculiar to drummers, really.
It is totally, because there's nothing like meeting your idol as well for inspiration, is there?
No, absolutely. It's really good, and to just and also sometimes get a chance to speak to parents that are maybe putting up with their kids bashing drums all day long, just to say, look, it's not a bad thing, and it's great to see when the parents come along and they're encouraging their kids,
Definitely, yeah. My brother's just got rid of a set actually. But I know, but I mean he's got his guitars and things now, so it's not too bad. I think he just sold it to go on holiday, to be honest with you.
Fair enough.
So your band players, it's also like it's got a real acid jazz sound to it. That's obviously always been an inspiration to you, seeing as Louis Belson being one of your influences and things.
Yeah, I think it's more of a jazz influence than sort of acid jazz. I mean, I was always a big fan of funk jazz and people like Roy Ayers and Donald Byrd and all these great American artists. And I think with the players, what we've tried to do, especially with the second album, just to, now that we've got vocals on the record, just to incorporate more of what would be sort of regarded as funk, really.
Right.
And there's nobody really doing it at the moment. It seems to be lots of music is coming back in different forms, but funk seems to be a genre that no one's really kind of paying much attention to, and I think it just seems to be very, very popular when people hear funk live.
Definitely, there's nothing like sitting, at Glastonbury or somewhere in the middle of the field in the sunshine and listening to it. It's a really great type of music to listen to in the sunshine, I think.
that's it. We did Glastonbury like 2 years ago, and unfortunately the sun wasn't shining. It was the year that flooded, but we got there wasn't a huge crowd there, but we got a really good reaction for just doing something a bit different, really. And it's just hard. It's hard for us, and it's like we get a lot of demand from our fans to come out and play, but it's just really hard finding venues and promoters that want to support.
With regards to you've obviously been in the business for a long time as well. You were how old when you started out?
I was 17 when I started working with the Style Council.
Yeah. What was that like? Obviously, were you into the jam beforehand, or?
No, I wasn't really into the jam and I think that's what held me in good stead to get the gig, because I wasn't really
in awe
of Paul's legacy, because at the time it's to be a young boy in this country in 1982, 83, to a certain degree the jam were almost like a religion. It was as close as a band got to kind of being a football team nowadays, and I think that was quite intimidating for Paul by the end. I just don't think he wanted musicians like that around him for a bit. He wanted people that were not afraid to sort of speak up and say, well, try this or try that, and just bring something different to it. Yeah,
he's legendary as well for demanding the best, isn't he, really? So do you think that's why you're still with him?
Yes, because I think myself and Damon, the musicians that work with him, we don't take anything for granted. We're not kind of sitting back on our laurels. We're always trying to play to our best ability, and that's he doesn't demand anything less, really.
Yeah. Aside from that, though, aside from playing with Paul, obviously in the Style Council, you've played with, numerous different bands as a stand-in, I think they call it.
Yeah, well, for a little while I was a bit like a sort of super sub.
Yeah, that's
coming on at the end. I did a tour, like some dates with Ocean Colour Scene, a day or so's notice, which was really, really good fun. And I did Oasis when my brother hurt his hand and couldn't do it, and went to America for 6 weeks, and that was really good.
2001, as I remember.
Yes, it was in America, and then dates in Paris with Neil Young, which was really good.
Brilliant.
Had a great time, and then we stood in for the Who's rhythm section last year, and that was good fun. So we rely on each other, and we're tight and quite cheap as well. So
brilliant. So talking about your brother, who's the better drummer?
Well, it's difficult because the thing that I'm into is more of a jazz-based thing, and the kind of things that Alan was into or are into. He's got very, very specific taste. He loves Charlie Watts, he likes Ringo Starr, and he likes James Brown, and that's about it for him. Yeah. So he's very kind of more into just holding the beat down and just laying it down, really, and I don't think there's a...
Very diplomatic. Diplomatic.
Yeah.
You've both obviously been involved, though, in British music for a number of years, so I bet you've crossed paths a few times. Have you got some stories to tell over a pint?
I've got loads of stories to tell over a pint, but you couldn't print them in a magazine. But maybe one day I can give you the unexpurgated version of all the real stories about the cross-stretching and all that kind of stuff that goes on in all these macho bands.
Yeah, well, we've got a club down here called Players Lounge, actually, so maybe you could come along and give us a set.
Well, fantastic, because we're hoping to get some dates announced soon, because we've got a few things happening at the end of November, beginning of November, and it would be great. The Players Lounge sounds like a great place to come and do something.
It's very small. It's a very small venue, but it's...
Well, Damon could bring his records and do a DJ set, right?
Definitely, yeah. There's definitely call for that, definitely.
Excellent.
I'm sure the owner of the club would be made up.
Well, we've got a lot of good friends in Liverpool. Obviously, Damon hails from the Fair City on the blue side. So
yeah, you know we're on the Wirral here, though, Steve, don't you?
Oh right, you're in the posh bit.
You were in the posh bit, yeah. Yeah, I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that.
Yeah. No, I know.
You know Philly, don't you? So you know where we are.
Of course. Yeah. You're in the nicer part, the nicer posh bit.
The posh end, the better side of the water, we like to call it.
Yeah.
So I did a feature actually on Checkham Lads a couple of months ago now with Philly.
Oh right.
Yeah, I don't know if you mentioned it to you, but you must be proud of how well it's done. So how did you get involved with the whole?
Well, Phil originally emailed my website and just said that he was going to come to a drum clinic that we did in Liverpool a couple of years ago, and he never turned up. And I kind of thought, you made the big deal about wanting to come down, and just sort of out of a humorous intent, I called him up, I dropped him an email, and just said, so where were you then, you bastard, you bugger? Yeah. And he just said, oh, I'm really sorry I couldn't make it away, but I just got diagnosed with cancer. And I was like, blimey, that was a bit of it was one of those things that sort of stops you in your tracks, you think your life can change, you think it's all going along and you're worrying about things that are so trivial, and he went for a kidney stone and got told that he had testicular cancer. Yeah. And it just sort of struck me a little bit, it struck me quite a lot, and I just wanted to kind of keep in touch. And then when he had chemo. He was in a pretty bad way, but he came down to our gig that we did at the Pops, Summer Pops. Yeah. And he was still suffering, and he was still sort of having treatment. And I can see that he was very, very angry about this whole disease, and about the whole availability of treatment, which was very poor, and the way young TC sufferers were being treated. And I just said, well, stop moaning about it, do something about it. And we began to talk, and he said, well, I'd like to do a website. I think that's where lots of young men are kind of going to go first for information. Because your mum is not exactly the first person you want to talk to when you're 16 and you've got problems in that area. Yeah. So he set the website up, and all of a sudden it just went. Yeah. And within a very short space of time, we were getting emails from kids saying that they'd been successfully treated for TC because they had the courage to speak to someone after reading information on the website. So it's fantastic, and Philly does so much work, and I just do what I can. But it's something that I'm really proud of. I think it's a really great cause to be involved with.
It is, and it's something that isn't fun to well, is it? So I mean, it's great that it's kind of like got yourself and Paul backing, because it makes it. I don't know. It kind of it makes people stand up and listen a little bit more with.
Well, hopefully, and we've done a few TV things and a few bits and pieces, but there's still a long way to go. But there's a lot of good work's been done already.
Oh, totally. The logo's popping up everywhere as well.
Yeah,
I know. Great. I was speaking to Billy the other day, and he said that the Dogs, I think he said, are putting it on their album cover or on their album somewhere.
It's fantastic. It's fantastic.
And the logo's popping up all over MySpace, isn't it? A lot of fans are putting it into their top 8 friends and what have you. So
it's really become, it's kind of. I think it's talking about cancer on a level that youngsters will understand, and that's how it is. I mean, there's so many sort of wonderful doctors and nurses, but in their manner of discussing an issue like that with a young 16, 15, 17-year-old lad, and it's they don't speak their language, and the website does. The whole kind of bollocks to cancer thing. It's really it's very sort of current, and if it can sort of provide the information that leads young men getting treated, because it's a very easily treatable disease if it's caught early enough. But once it's got beyond a certain stage, it's one of the most aggressive forms of cancer that you can have, and the key is catching it early.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So I've got some quickfire questions for you as well.
Yeah.
So what's the best gig you've played at?
The best gig I've ever played is the next one.
Is the next one. Fantastic. Yeah. Really good. What about the best gig you've attended?
The best gig I've ever attended was going to see Buddy Rich play at Ronnie Scott's in 1983.
Okay, I was only 4 then, so I won't remember that one.
I was only 7.
Oh, were you really?
No, I wasn't.
You liar.
I'd like to think I was.
Yeah, okay. What about your all-time favourite band?
All-time favourite band is the Beatles.
Right, okay. The best album you've played on?
Best album I played on is, I've got two. It's the Last Players album and Stanley Road.
Stanley Road, yeah. It must be hard to constantly improve on albums like Stanley Road.
Well, you just have to keep trying. You know, you can't just go, oh, well, that's now been made, so aren't we fantastic? You just have to keep trying and just wanting to kind of improve yourself. Yeah. Otherwise, you'll end up sort of sitting around a lake in the country trying to catch fish. And, you know, I don't want to do that just yet.
That sounds quite good, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about favourite album, you know, that you haven't played on?
Favourite album that I haven't played on? What's Going On by Marvin Gaye.
Right. Okay. So, would you say you're a mod?
No, I'm not a mod.
You're not? So you're not in Paul Weller's Mod Father Club?
No, I'm not interested in what Steve Marriott was wearing in 1326. My kind of approach to mod in the way I think that Paul really kind of gets it is about moving forward, and that's not about fashion and clothes. That's just one small part of it. It's trying to challenge yourself and just kind of try and move forward as a person, and I subscribe to that, but not the conventional, you know, scooters and parkers and things like that. I think that's all a bit silly.
You don't ride around Bermondsey on a... Is it Bermondsey you're from? Bermondsey.
What's that?
You don't ride around on a scooter around there then?
No, I couldn't think of anything worse than riding around on a scooter. I like big comfortable cars with airbags. I can listen to Radio 4 in. What
car have you got?
A Land Rover.
A Land Rover, so that's nice and big and comfy.
A good British car owned by Germans.
Oh, right, okay. I've got a good British Japanese import. I've got a Nissan Figaro.
Smart, great little cars they are. They're very stylish. You must be very fashionable.
It's pink.
a pink Figaro. That's really cute.
It is.
I bet everyone lets you go at traffic lights, don't they? And goes,
and they wave to you as well on the path. It's fantastic.
Yeah. They usually do that to me in London with two fingers.
I feel famous like you. So they don't wave to you on your way past?
No, they don't.
Oh, right, okay. Who's your favourite drummer then, of all time?
Who's my favourite drummer? Buddy Rich.
Buddy Rich. What's in your CD player now?
What's in the CD player now? I'm going to sound really trendy, and it's not down to me, it's down to my friend Tina. Okay. We've got Wolf Mother.
Right.
We've got Muse. Yeah. We've got The Editors. Yeah. And we've got, who else we got, guys? UB40. UB40 as well, but that's Wonder. Bit of Stevie Wonder. Yeah. So quite a cross section, really.
What's the 20 disc changer?
Yes, we've got. It's very important to CD player.
I can only fit one in mine at one at a time. You see, you've obviously got a fantastic new thing.
Yes.
So, being out on the skins, here's one for you. Who's going to win? You, John Bonham, or Keith Moon?
Well, burn up on the skins between us three. I would win because two of them are dead. So.
Oh well, yeah. That's an easy
I don't know. We wouldn't do a burn up. We'd just try and make something massively tribal and funkily sounding, and then I'd probably go and drink myself stupid with them.
Fantastic. That sounds like a plan, definitely. Yeah. This is a question from one of my friends who's a drummer in a band, a local band called Moses. Yeah. I think he's your friend on MySpace. Right. But he wants to know, who was your favourite out of the James Brown drummers over the years?
Clyde Stubblefield and Jabbo Starks. The pair of them playing together was just a genius, absolute genius. So it's the pair of them. But I'm also a big fan of the drummer whose name was Clayton Philior, who was the first of the real funky guys that played with James Brown and couldn't keep up, so he ended up becoming the bus driver for the band. Yeah. When Clyde Stubblefield took over, and I just think that he's got to be my favourites because I think that's one of the best drummers' names of all time. Right. Clayton Philior, that's a great drummer's name.
Yeah. Did you see them back a couple of years ago when Glastonbury was west that year? Did you watch James Brown then?
Yes, I've seen James Brown a number of times. Not with the great sort of players, Bootsy Collins and the Melvin Sparks, all those kind of guys. I haven't seen him, but I saw him about sort of 6 or 7 years ago, and I saw him at a festival, and he still goes for it. He's still a legend. Yeah,
I saw him at Glastonbury myself, and he was going for it, definitely. Yeah. So has anything gone wrong mid-set while you've been drumming? You thought, oh my God, what's happening here?
What, on stage?
Yeah.
Oh God, things go wrong all the time. You just have to like pretend that you're in the show must go on, basically. That's a cliche, but I've had bass drum skins break, and we've had amps go down, and you know, bass drum pedals come off, and all sorts happens, and people throw glasses at us, and you know, but only in Birmingham usually.
Right, yeah.
But no, you just kind of have to get on with it really, and try to do your best.
Do you have any like funny rituals before you go on stage?
Not really. I like to have a nice walk before I go on stage, and that's sort of serious because you know, if I get a chance to eat before we go on, I like to go and leave the venue and just go and have a nice walk and sort of just calm our heads down.
Well, come on, now, that's not quite in fitting with the rock and roll lifestyle.
I never ever drink and play. I just don't do it. So you know, I'm a bit boring really. Right.
Okay. Just like 20 pints afterwards.
Well, no, just 2 glasses of nice white wine.
Very good. Very good. Brilliant. Well, listen, thanks for your time.
All right, Jay.
Hopefully when you come down here we'll get a chance to come and see you. So
definitely. Well, let us know when it's going in, and I'll get a copy from you.
I will. I'll send it down, and hopefully send us a message when you're playing around this area, and hopefully get to come and see you.
Thanks a lot, love.
Cheers then.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.